Morena tātou. E mihi ana ki te reo irirangi o Ngau FM, nā koutou anō i ahei, tūwhiringa tātou. Hei ahei mātou te kōrero ki tēnei o ngā kaupapa. Tēnā koa, whakamohio mai ko ai koe, no hea, nea ha tōtu ngā mahi.
Tēnā koe ko whituāriki ake tēnei, he uri tēnei, no ngā iwi maha, puta noa i te tai rāwhiti mai i te wharekahika o roto o Ngāti Parau, tai rawa atu ki te taitama wahine i te tai tokerau. Ngā rārangi maunga, ngā iwi o Wainganui tērā o ngā whaitua, nō reira ahau. He kaimahi tēnei ki te kōhau Health, he kaimahi raro i te maru o he oranga whānau, Healthy Families Te Ngira, koe rā tō mātou wāhi mahi. He ko taku mahi, he rautaki Māori, ko te ngako o taku mahi pia, ko te aru i ngā āhuatanga o te punaha hauora e tāminei a tātou te iwi Māori, he kimi rautaki e ora pai ai ngā hāpuri, ngā whānau e aru nei mātou. Koe rā pia te wahanga o taku mahi, kakaha whātoro atu ahau ki e rā āhuatanga. Koe tēnā.
Kia ora. Tēnā reira he rangatira, ne? Nā. Kua rongo e pāna ki ngā kōrero. We've heard a lot of kōrero about tētai o wene o ngā wānanga o te whare o Huiterangiora. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So, te whare o Huiterangiora, bit of a funny story that. When we had our wananga for Matariki last year, it was sort of noticeable when it came to the hautapu ceremony that sort of scrambling last minute there to find people who could actually recite the proper Karanga and Waiata for mo te kāhui whetū, mo te kāhui o Matariki. And we sort of, in our reflections of that kaupapa, that was highlighted. And so when it came to the beginning of this year, when we were began planning our kaupapa for Matariki celebrations this year, we sort of wanted to highlight that, making this kaupapa about, bringing Rangatahi in to be able to learn from different practitioners about how to recite Waiata and Karanga to the stars for te kāhui Matariki. Koe rā te wahanga tuatahi pēo tomate nei kaupapa, ko te wahanga tuarua e whaipanga ana ki te mahinga kai. So we've been fortunate enough to bring practitioners in who can guide us in that, on that side of things. On the surface, you might see it's just a wananga about mahinga kai and learning to do karakia and karanga and wairia to the whetū. Engari, mōku ake nei, he wananga tēnei e akutahi ai mātou e pāna ki ngā āhuatanga o te amorangi ki mua me te hāpai o ki muri. Koe rā te wahanga nui pēo tō tātou nei kaupapa.
Kia ora. I guess because we work in the same space. I've heard you've actually gone into Waikato, wharewananga o Waikato.
Yep.
And doing some mahi with some of their tauira over there.
Yeah, so we, networking and stuff, that's sort of part of our mahi. I'm lucky because one of my mates from Kura has a role with I forget the name of the organisation, but it's one of the organisations with the university. Matariki Waikato is what it's called. I have a mate who works there, and sort of floated the idea with him to see if that was within the purview of the university to have us on, and he said yes. He asked for a favour, as networking does. They had a whole bunch of Indigenous students come from Canada, interested in health. And we were able to facilitate having their Indigenous students come over and have a look at our facilities. And after that, sort of a partnership was born out of that. So he got me connected with the president of Waikato Students Union, which is how we've been able to come up with our kaupapa
Cool.
for te whare o Huiterangiora.
So you're saying this is not just a kaupapa for Rangatahi Māori?
No.
Yeah.
This is a kaupapa open to Rangatahi in general.
Yeah.
It's not the doors aren't closed to non-Māori whānau.
Diversity, yeah.
It's opened up to everybody.
When we say Rangatahi, what are our ages?
So our ages would be high school, so 14 years old up to I'm on the back end of Rangatahi status at the moment. But I'm told I count anywhere between 18 to 25. Would be the age range for Rangatahi for this kaupapa. Yeah.
So when we're promoting, I guess, this wananga to our whānau, this is the age group that we're looking at. Yeah,
I said 18 to 25. Sorry, from the beginning of high school, 14.
Oh,
to
ka pai.
Yeah.
Cool. So you talked a little bit about bringing in some facilitators and running some workshops.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
So we're fortunate to bring prominent tohunga kōkorangi, Ricky Solomon, to, as this is a Matariki kaupapa, it's only fitting to have someone with the knowledge of the maramataka, Matariki, to be able to facilitate that kōrero. So Ricky will be holding that role for us for te whare o Huiterangiora.
We were lucky to have him at the first kaupapa as well.
Yes, we were very fortunate to have him facilitate at our kaupapa last year for Matariki as well.
Yeah.
We've got Chef Joe McLeod in to facilitate the mahinga kai aspect of our kaupapa. And, Chef Joe, I mean, his resume sort of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
He's been around the world, involved in the culinary, I guess, arts. But, he found that his calling was back here.
Yeah.
And so, we've been fortunate to bring him on board. His knowledge on gathering and foraging, cultivating to planting our kai, native kai, is valuable, and it's something that we've been fortunate to bring on board with us for this kaupapa.
Cool. Who is doing the Wairia karanga aspect, like helping support that?
That's interesting. So last week I had actually organised for a couple of people to come in, but they've actually pulled out. But hey, engari anō, we're looking for. I have a couple of people who.
Okay, fine. So if any of our whānau see this and want to help out,
yes, please.
Okay. We won't get too much in terms of the details in case we have some people, but there is a registration link, right?
Yes. So there is an invitation flyer with a QR code that links you to our registration form. This kaupapa, this is a kaupapa for Rangatahi. As also one part of our reflections from last year was that hadn't created much engagement within Rangatahi spaces. As extraordinary of mahi that we did do last year, that was one thing that sort of stood out to me. And so that's why we've centered Rangatahi to this kaupapa. Having said that, though, this is an invite-only kaupapa. Whether you are a part of a Rangatahi group or a part of a kura, that would probably be the best way to gain access to our kaupapa. Just so we can keep our numbers and health and safety and all of that stuff. Which is why we have to limit our numbers.
Yeah. Dates? Any dates?
The kaupapa, Te Whare o Huiterangiora, begins on the 7th of June. That's a Saturday, and we'll be running on to the next day, the 8th of June. So from the 7th to the 8th is when our kaupapa begins. 9:30 to be at the Waharua, ready for the 4:30 at 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Cool, because these are pretty. I've looked over our run sheet.
Yeah.
It's a pretty jam-packed day full of some massive kaupapa. Looking like a 10 to even a 10 o'clock finish.
Yeah. With wananga, that's sort of how things kind of roll. It's a whole big learning experience. When we're like I said earlier, he wānanga tēnei e pāna ki te whaiwhia I wera o ngā āhuatanga o te amorangi ki mua me te hāpai o ki muri, te ranu I wera o ngā kawenga I runga I wā mātou marae. So that's sort of the wider part of our kaupapa that we really want to bring out. But also having our Matariki aspect attached to the kaupapa.
Kia ora, kia ora. So if you're keen whānau for 2 days of jam-packed kaupapa, workshops, akoranga, mātauranga Māori, tēnā koa, tukuna mai he karere.
Tukuna mai he karere he pānui.
Ki whia, kia ora.
Tukuna mai he karere kia mātou. Whātoro mai kia mātou ma te whakamahi I wā mātou whārangi pukamata, pai āhua kei reira wā mātou. Kei reira wā mātou hononga aitua ki ngā kaupapa maha e aru nei tātou. Our handle, Healthy Families Te Ngira, on all of our platforms. That's where you can get in touch with us.
Yeah, cool. And if you didn't know it, all of this mahi was actually planned and organised, mostly through Whitu, but...
Team it. Full credit to my team. Full credit to the boys.
Really, all I've had to do is set this interview up. Yeah. Anything else you want to share?
No mai, piki mai, kake mai, ki te whare o Huiterangiora.